So many people have the question about, gee, can I file for an abandoned vehicle and get ownership of a car that I found somewhere? Can I get a title using an abandoned vehicle claim? Well, let's take a look. An abandoned vehicle definition is very important to understand what it is. It's usually a vehicle that has just been left somewhere that nobody knows where it came from or what the story is, and it doesn't really belong to anybody. We're going to take a look at 3 different states, how they qualify abandoned vehicles, how they define it, and what you can do with them and what you can't do with them. You'll notice that in these 3 states, the rules are almost exactly the same. Why is that? Well, the reason is because the rules that each state uses comes from a federal law. The federal law tells the states, this is how you're supposed to do abandoned vehicles. So every state uses that guideline when they make their own rules. The other thing you'll find is that if you are wanting to be the owner of a vehicle, if your instinct is to say, hey, let's do abandoned vehicle, that's probably not going to work. And we'll talk about why not. But there is something that will work 90-something% of the time. And we'll talk about that at the end. So, first one we're going to look at is Pennsylvania. Fact sheet on disposal of abandoned vehicles. Notice it uses the word disposal. It doesn't use the word claiming. Okay? So it provides information on disposing of vehicles which have been left on private property. That's important. Private property is probably what you're looking at, not left on the side of the road. Definition of terminology. Abandon, it's an intention to abandon together with an act. Abandoned property is that which an owner has relinquished all rights, title, claim, and possession with no intention of reclaiming it or resuming ownership. You notice it says to which an owner has relinquished, not the owner. So, if you have a vehicle that's in your driveway and you say, I'm going to say this vehicle is abandoned. If you say it's abandoned, you are an owner that's relinquishing all rights. Right? You're not the owner. You might be an owner, a possible owner. So if you say it's abandoned, you abandon it too. You're relinquishing rights with no intention of reclaiming. So what is the definition? Section 102 of the Vehicle Code defines it as, and we'll skip over the public property, the vehicle has remained on private property without consent of the owner for 24 hours. Oh, you might say, yeah, it's been here for more than 24 hours. But you didn't read the rest of it. It says, without the consent of the owner. How did it get there? Did you let somebody park it there and then they overstayed their welcome? Did you say, hey, you can leave it here for a few weeks while you're on vacation and then come get it? Did you say, bring it here, I'll fix your transmission and then you can pick it up? Right? That was with consent. Did you buy it from somebody on Craigslist and they never gave you a title? That had consent because you brought it there. So without consent of the owner, that's probably a deal breaker. So what can you do with this? Here's the following methods. Oh, let's back up. Methods of disposing of abandoned vehicles from private property. All these methods do not apply to private parking lots unless the lots are posted to notify the restriction. So if you're saying I'm a private parking lot, you have to have published notice and you have to be in that business. So what 3 things can you do? Number 1, pursuant to these numbers of the Vehicle Code, the property owner may request a police department to take possession of the vehicle, or a salvor, which is a junkyard. So basically you call the police, they either tow it to a junkyard or the junkyard comes and tows it. That's probably not what you want to do, right? Or the property owner may personally remove the vehicle to a place of storage under 3353. Well, 3353 we know is a junkyard. And the junkyard then will take the parts off and auction off the rest. That's probably not what you want to do. Now, what's the last one? The property owner may file a suit in common pleas court requesting that an order be entered that awards ownership of the vehicle. That probably sounds like what's on your mind, right? But that's a clue, that's a hint about what you should do in any state to get a title. And that is a court order title. And here's a sneak peek of our website, cartitles.com. What is a court order title? Court order title gives you more info. We'll talk about that momentarily. So court order title is a clue. It also tells you a property owner may not repossess a vehicle for the cost of. You will be back in your video in just a few seconds. In the meantime, remember that actualhuman.com offers you live one-on-one private video consultation with an expert in this exact subject. We want to listen to your story. We want to hear your questions. We want to give you expert advisement of your options and tell you what we know about your particular situation. Now back to your video. Storing the vehicle unless the owner is a bona fide warehouseman. What does that mean? You have to be a licensed storage facility and you have to have signed authorization. A bill incurred for repairs can be collected only by filing a complaint and obtaining judgment. That sounds like a court order. So both of these two things, complaint, obtaining judgment, and suit and common pleas, gets back to the same destination, court order title. Remember that. That's going to be a theme. We'll see that again, right? Now, we're going to look at another state. This is the state of Texas. Abandoned vehicles. When is it considered to be abandoned? Same thing. On the lot for 24 hours. You have to send out a notice. But you also have to have it removed by the police. If you are a licensed storage facility, you can charge fees, right? You can charge fees. If you are a licensed storage facility, like a self-storage yard, it can be sold or transferred at a public auction, but you have to have a separate auction for the vehicle, which means that you can't keep it for yourself. And we'll click on one of these laws here to see what the law says. First thing you have to do, you have to file a notice to the police. Garage keeper's duty for an abandoned motor vehicle. The garage keeper shall report the abandonment to a law enforcement agency in the jurisdiction where the vehicle is located and pay a $10 fee to make notices. A garage keeper who fails to report within 7 days after it's abandoned may not claim reimbursement for storage. So you have to report it to the police. If you report it to the police as abandoned, they will probably come tow it away. They will probably come get it. Don't let you keep it. Last one we'll look at is, this is California DMV. Private parties are not legally able to use the vehicle lien sale, which is the abandoned process, unless they are lawfully in the business of providing repairs towing. Lawfully in the business means you have a license from the state to be a licensed vehicle repair shop, automotive repair shop. Private property owners may have a vehicle removed when the vehicle is abandoned and the towing company can sell it off. So all you can do as a private property owner, not a licensed business, is have the car towed away, which is probably not what you want to do. Gets back to the same thing. Court order title. What is that? You got to remember, all of these processes, abandoned vehicles, mechanics lien, storage lien, garage holders lien, those are all going through the DMV, or the title agency in your state. They only have certain allowances. They only have certain authority. They have to follow certain rules. All the rules are laid out in the law. If you don't have the last title or a signed repair order or a business license, you're done. You get nothing. You lose the car. But the court in your county has authority over the DMV. If you go to the court and make a petition saying, I want to be the owner of this vehicle, here's why. It was on my property. I bought it and didn't get a title. The owner told me I could have it, never gave me a title. The court can now override the DMV, give you a judgment of ownership, and get you a title. You'll find more information about it at this website, cartitles.com. It'll describe that court order title process in detail, give you instructions where you could do it all yourself. There's a service if you want to have somebody assist with it. The most important thing is Don't declare a vehicle to be abandoned. Once you call it abandoned, you can't undo that statement. Now it's in the system as abandoned, and in 95% of the time, the state or the government or the police are going to come seize it and tow it away, and they process it. You don't get to keep it. Cars are not finders keepers like finding a $20 bill on the ground. Cars are titled assets, and they have to go through a certain process. The court can override that process, but that's where you have to go. If you say it's abandoned, you have to abandon it too and let the state figure out who's supposed to be the owner. If you go to court, now it's you petitioning the court, telling your story, and they make the determination. But if it's truly abandoned and there's nobody else that's not reported stolen or anything, you'll get the vehicle. So read more about it at Car Titles. If you do have more questions, you can actually book a consultation with a certified title agent using the link below to talk about your case in more detail. But the most important thing to remember, don't jump right to abandoned vehicle as the go-to way to get a title, because you'll probably lose the vehicle and never be able to recover it. Thank you for watching another video at actualhuman.com and describe.tv. Remember, if you have questions or comments about our videos, put them in the link below. Also, remember that you have availability and access to live one-on-one question and answer consultation with a licensed expert in a number of fields: investigations, insurance, surety bonds, civil court mediation, even things like real estate records research, real estate brokers, real estate mortgage lenders. In addition, you're going to find that experts are available in business segments, business development, marketing, advertising, certified licensed experts. So if you do find this content valuable and you want to delve more deeply into a subject, you can't ask YouTube a question, right? But if you want to talk to somebody live, an actual human, use the link below. Thanks for watching.